Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sunday, like we typically say in this part of the world. Thank you so much for joining. All right, let's just try and reach out to our friends, colleagues, associates who should be on this call. Today, we are looking at a very interesting topic, ethics and governance in the workplace. And in a bit, I'll be introducing our facilitator for today, our resource person. We are extremely privileged to have with us Dr. Ekwaba Joy. She is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Training and Development. She's a member of the Tara Institute of Personnel Management. She has a PhD, which is something that is not easy to come by. She works presently with the Department of Employment Relations and Human Resource Department at the Faculty of Management Sciences. Dr. Joy has well over 40 publications, but I'd just like to pick like 5 or 6 of those publications so that we also know the caliber of personnel we have with us today. One of our papers include the impact of recruitment and selection criteria on organizational performance. She also has another paper on organizational culture, a tool for management to control, motivate, and enhance employee performance. Another key paper she has is on the role of human resource planning in recruitment and selection process. I'll mention just 2 more. She also has a paper on the imperative of integrating corporate business plan with manpower planning. The last but not the least is industrial unionism and its bargaining and how it correlates with the Nigerian industrial relations system. Again, she has well over 40 published papers in reputable journal nationally, globally, and worldwide. Okay, hopefully more people will join us. As always, we will upload the recording on our YouTube channel so that others too who may not be available today can watch at their convenient time. Without further ado, it is my pleasure and privilege to hand over to our facilitator today, Dr. Joy. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, my Oga. It's like you've done a research on me before coming. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And like you have said, my name is Dr. Joy Ekwaba Onyinyechi of the Faculty of Management Sciences, Department of Employment Relations and Human Resource Management, University of Lagos. So for the topic that I was given, talks about ethics and governance in the workplace, and being an academic, I want to take it through the stages. So my outline covers the concept of what ethics and governance is, ethics in the workplace, work ethics for employers and employees, ethics and morality in the workplace, ethical principles that is expected of all of us that are working, ethical manners expected of staff, then ethics and governance, which is the policies, codes, rules, regulations in the workplace, then the importance of these ethics and governance in the workplace, and then few recommendations that will be coming from me. That's how I would take it. Maybe because I'm coming from academics, and I think it will make much sense for us if we go through that route. So, to the concept of ethics, ethics, or what some of us call morality, is part of philosophy that has to do with all aspects of our living. It distinguishes us from animals. It makes us to be different from animals. It guides us on how to behave, not just behave, but to behave properly. Ethics teaches us cooperation and understanding needed for us to have peaceful living wherever we are. It helps us to live a life that is not brutal, but to live well with others in peace and in prosperity. So basically, ethics will teach I, what is wrong and what is right, and help us to live peacefully among ourselves as people. So now ask ourselves, what is work ethics? Work ethics is that ability for you and I to maintain proper moral values within the workplace. And those moral values are things that are good or right that we're supposed to do against what is wrong that we do in the offices. So with it, if you're able to do what is good or what is right, you'll be creating that's a work condition, favorable work condition that will be filled with love and respect for one another in our workplaces. With ideal ethical workplace, you'll be cultivating and maintaining a workplace that is very conducive for everybody to enjoy. So ethics will help organizations to manage and train their employees. As we all know, we are not perfect human beings. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. We have our ideologies that we are bringing in. We have our home trainings that will influence the place of work. We have our different reasons, maybe our religious indoctrinations, and all of us are going to bring this into the table in the workplace in the same place. So it is with ethics that organizations will begin to manage and train us on how to make sure that those different ideas that will come with, whether from background or where we are trained, relationship we have with our parents, or the relation or the religious indoctrination that we have, does not affect our workplace or affect our relationship in the workplace. So ethics helps us to study what is right, what is good in employees' conduct wherever we are working. It is an inquiry into our nature. It helps the organizations to bring out the nature in us, that good nature, and how to attain it. Because some will be coming, they don't have those good natures. So when they come in and you have this thing on ground, it will help them to be able to get into it, wear it, and then work with it. The truth, like we know, is that all of us know what is right to be done, like Norman said, but most times it is very hard for us to do it. I'll have instances. All of us know that if you're working in a place, it's not your place to take their biro home. But most times we'll go there, we'll pick it and we'll go home, even when we know it is wrong. So work ethics is that doctrine that will tell you that your duties is not to take those biros. Your duty is to do a job. It gives you those principles that are supposed to regulate how you behave in the workplace and how you will not behave. So when you're taking your gas milk, maybe because it's empty, you're in this office without asking and you're picking it and going home, ethics is telling you that this is wrong. You're not supposed to take it. So those doctrines that will teach you about the manners of how you're supposed to behave, your duties, and other principles that will help you grow is what Samuel says is ethics. And like we all know, personally, our personal ethics will focus on our morals and principles, while professional or what we call work ethics will demand that we adhere to corporate rules. So you can put someone in charge of morals. So ethics is something personal that we all need to work with. And that takes us to what are those work ethics that is expected of us as employers of labor and also as workers. No, we have the management, which are the employers, and then we have ourselves working. So for the managers or for the workers, for the owners of the business or the employers, the first basic thing that you're supposed to do is to provide a safe work environment for all your employees. It is part of the work ethics for you to treat all your employees with so much dignity and respect that you don't look down on any one of them, irrespective of their position or their level. That you provide a fair wage or compensation package for all the services that they have rendered. It is not after rendering it, you now begin to give reasons why a company has not met it. It should not be like ASU and government, where the works we have done since 2019 now, which is what we call an allowance, has not been paid. Every year they keep moving it and keep giving a reason why government, but these jobs are, people have graduated with PhD, people have graduated with masters, the job have already been done, and then you are owing them. You're supposed to pay them for the services that they have rendered. That is work ethics for the employer. To handle all business transactions with integrity and honesty is also the place of employer, because your employees are watching you. If you put up any dishonesty or you don't have integrity, they will just capitalize on your own dishonesty to be dishonest. For example, if for a manager or an employer or the owner of the business, the employees knows that you don't come to work. Let's say you even have a simple saloon. They know that you don't come to work. You cannot get to the saloon till maybe around 10. There is that tendency that they will be coming to work around 9:30 and they will write 7 o'clock for you because you are not there. So if you are living in dishonesty, your employees will live in dishonesty. You have to treat everyone equally and fairly. There shouldn't be any godfatherism or godmotherism or ethnicity of any kind. Everybody should be treated fairly and equally based on the work that they're doing. Then work ethics for the employer is that you must provide open and effective communication channel. I should be able to reach my HOD. I should be able to reach my dean. I should be able to reach my DVCs. I should be able to reach my VC in case I am not being treated well. So there should be that open channel. We don't need to close it as employers. Once we close it, the people will find another channel to harm you. Because if I find I can't get to my boss, they won't hear me. So I feel it's their organization. So I'll be doing my own things, not bothering whether it is hurting them or not. So if you have good ethics, you'll be dealing with conflict effectively. You won't have conflict in your organization. That takes us to the part of the employees. As an employee, your own work ethics is that you must resume to work on time. You must show up on time. You cannot use management time. Then you know that you live in Ekpaja and you accept a job in VI. It's either you're going to relocate to VI or you wake up very early. Your work ethics is that you must come to that job on time. There's nothing like I live in Ekpaja. They didn't force you to live there. You took up the job. You must show up early as. And for me, I don't know, my grandmother taught me that you must be there early. So even before you started, I've already logged in, waiting for me to be admitted. So it's part of your work ethics. You must also be dependable and you live by organizational values. That is very, very important for us as employees because most of us are not dependable. It's when they are looking at us that we begin to work. When nobody looks at us, we leave those jobs, we call it their own, we move away and we do other things. You must be dependable. Whether your boss is watching you or is not watching you, those organizational values, those jobs that have been assigned to you, you have to do it very well. We must also be polite and respectful to everyone. In my former place where I worked with Oga Ola Aziz. They will tell you there is no small Oga. So irrespective of the height, size, nature of your boss, Oga na Oga. So you're supposed to speak politely and respectfully to everyone. You are also supposed not to use company's business time for any other thing. At work, it's not the time that you enter, you now use company time to watch Facebook, Twitter, play your Instagram account or whatever, or go to market or go pick your child, except you have discussed with your boss and you are allowed to do those things. Because what most of us do, we log in, we disappear. Some of us even use management time to do what? To go and do our prayers. That's when break time, you will not use your break time. You finish your break time 1 hour, the next 1 hour you have gone to hide somewhere to do. It is wrong. You must be committed and excellent to work. So you need to take the company business wholly as it is and do it at a time. Work as if you have never worked before for every assignment that is given to you. That's what I tell people. Any assignment that have been handed over to you, do it as if there's not that job. If another one comes, do it as if there's not that job. If another one comes, do it. And the one you can work with a team, contribute to the team work. Don't leave it for them. Then when the failure comes, I was not there. There's nothing like we are not there. I had an opportunity to teach a master's class. Once somebody now left the group assignments and then they did not do it. And funny enough, from the work they did not get the question and they did not answer well. So it became +5 - 5, which is 0. And the guy came to me and said, excuse me, ma, I have worked, I got first class in one university. I will mention the university. I said, welcome to University of Lagos. He said, I cannot fail this course. I said, okay, but your classmates. He said, that time I was, because I knew I'm a first class material, I knew that even if they get 10, I will stay with their 10 and my sister will still make A. But because he never worked with them, they didn't make A. And in the exam, he could not make up to 2. He made 27/70, which means failure because there's already 0 in assignment. Maybe had it been that they got 30 in assignment, which is 27, he will be having C, and then he won't have to have carryover. I said, okay, just wait behind. I brought out his scripts. He looked at his scripts. He was asking me, I said, the way you wrote in undergraduate is not the way I expect you to write in master's. And so because you never contributed, your people failed. So you have failed. Go and register. Initially, he was like, he's going to write to the school. I said, write to the school. The school, you paid him 25,000. Somebody else will mark you, no problem. But when he saw his scripts, he just went to pay his school fees because he knew he has goofed. by not working with his team. So we need to work as a team, because team failure is your own personal failure, whether you like it or not. It is not any other person's failure. Then we need to treat company resources, equipment, and products with so much care. That is part of the work ethics. Most of us, once this company, they give you company car where you cannot drive your car to, you drive into that place, you enter Gallop as if there is nothing. You allow people to write on it. In the offices, they give you chair, you treat it as if. Meanwhile, you cannot take those things happening to your own property. So the way you handle your personal property is the way you're supposed to handle company's property. Then treat your colleagues, fellow colleagues, with respect, honesty, and integrity. How you want to be treated is how you should treat other people. With so much integrity and honesty is the way you should treat people. You have to also separate your work life from your private life. And if you are struggling in your private life, please let your boss know. Ask for help. Because you enter the office and then you are, my son, when you get to office, it's not the place to tell us that your son, yes, we are very sympathetic in this part of the world, but let your boss know. It's not the time you come and do so. And when the man now acts or reacts, you know, they don't even care. My son, your son, yes, we know is part of you. Your son is supposed to be part of the business somewhere, somehow. But whatever is bothering you, whatever will affect the job, let the organization know. Don't bring it in and want to force it on the organization so that they will not begin to live in sympathy for you, because it's going to affect their job. And if for any reason your personal life is not allowing you to flow, please simply write your resignation letter. If you cannot ask them to help you, and move to another place where you think that's good. Because the truth is that the way you treat other person's business, if they treat your business that way, will you appreciate it? If you cannot, then do the right thing. Avoid discussing your personal problems with other people, because when you do, indirectly, you may not know when you begin to bring business of the organization. The confidentiality, if you cannot keep your personal business secret, it then means you cannot be able to keep company's business secret. So anybody that talks anyhow is most likely not to keep confidentiality of the organization. So that was why we're advising you on that work ethics, to minimize how you discuss about your personal problem, so that you don't carry organizational problem outside and begin to discuss about them. And also keep your phone calls at minimum. The banks are like them, they do that. You see all those your tellers before they will pick it. But for us that work in places that are not banks, our phones rings when we are going for meetings, we don't off it. Small time, you are running out, you are running in, you are running in, you are handling, you are making mistakes, you are typing, you are making mistakes because on your phone. Keep it at minimum. When I say don't receive calls in the workplace, receive, but keep it at minimum. Above all, please don't steal or waste company resources. Try as much as you can not to steal company resources. It doesn't matter whether you are whether you don't have those things or you have them or whatever it is. Please just try as much as you can to be as honest as possible. And that takes us, why we're saying this is that there are people who have misconstrued ethics and morality at workplace. For me, it is one and the same, because all of them are teaching you how to do right and how to do wrong. And it's what is expected of all of us in an organization. We're supposed to do right and do minimum of wrong. So we're expected to do good. But when it comes to ethics, ethics will tell you the standard of the organization. This is what the organization says you should not do. Your morals is supposed to support your ethical standards, because your moral is like your compass that navigates you within the organization. It is that your moral that will tell you, the company say we should not steal. Don't steal. No. Your conscience will be judging you, which is where your moral comes in. Don't take it. Don't take it. That's why we cannot separate morality from ethics, because your moral will be telling you. If you remove morality, most of us won't even obey whatever standard the organization has set. So allow your morality to come. So we cannot separate it. Both of them assist us in taking a good action about how to treat company properties and how to behave well and how to do things that we need to do in a very good way. In a very good way. So that takes us to, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with this one now. That takes us to something I want you to ask yourself as a person that is in an organization. To test yourself and know if you are actually having the work ethics in your body, or if you're actually obeying the standard of your organization. The first question I'll ask you to ask yourself in any place that you are working, whatever you are doing, whatever I'm doing, is it fair? Is what I'm doing fair to that particular organization? If what you are doing is fair to your organization, then it then means that you are working with the ethics of the organization. My actions, can it uphold the values of the organization or the company? If it cannot, that means what you are doing is wrong. Regarding my decisions, can I boldly tell my decision, that thing that you want to do in your organization? Can you boldly tell it to your boss? Can you even tell it to your colleagues? Can you call your wife or your husband or your child and say, this thing, I want to steal from the company? Can you tell it? Can you tell your pastor or your imam in the mosque? Can you confidently tell it to anybody? If you cannot, it then means you are doing something that is wrong, that needs not to be done in that particular organization. Another one you should ask yourself is, how would anybody regard my action if it is made public? If what you are doing in your organization is made public, will people clap for you? If people will not clap for you, whether you're a manager, senior, junior, or middle, then it is wrong. And if it is wrong, it is against the work ethics. Will my decision or action be valid for years or years to come? So if cannot be valid, I want you to have a rethink about it and know that what you are doing is not to the good of your organization. What you are doing or what I'm doing, is it legal? If they should bring in police, will what I am doing be termed legal? If we get to the law court, will I have an upper hand over the organization? If you will not, have a rethink about it and don't do those things. Will my decision or action hurt anyone in that particular organization? Those things you want to take, will it help the organization? Will it help production? Will it help whoever it is? Will it? If it will hurt anyone in your organization, then don't do it. It's against the ethics of the organization. Will it put my company or even a school in a positive light? If you do not put your company, whether school or whatever, because I'm using school because I'm in school, if you will not put it in positive light, then it then means you're working against the ethics of your organization. Would my action make anyone uncomfortable, especially the bosses? If your action will make anybody uncomfortable, then you are not working with the ethics of the organization. Do my action get the respect of others? If your action is the one that when people see you, everybody takes cover in your organization, then go and sit down and check. There is something you are missing based on the ethics of your organization. Those are that you be coming on the staircase, everybody is just giving way for you to pass. Nobody can come to you. It then means something is wrong. So in all my action, can the viewpoint be found of others? Can others' viewpoint as a boss, can they see your other people's viewpoint? Or is it that I don't need them? I don't involve others. My viewpoint is the best. Others don't matter. If that is the stand of your actions, it then means something is wrong in what you are doing. You need to have a rethink about what you are doing. So for you to be able to answer these questions and be able to do well and work in the ethics of the organizations, there are principles that you need to follow. And one of those principles is the principle of beneficency that says, do what is right and good. In anything you do, your good must have the highest ratio over evil in the organization. Irrespective of your position, boss, no boss, cleaner, whoever you are, whatever you do in your organization, in the ratio of your goodness must overwhelm that of the badness. That is what this principle is telling you. Your decisions on the least harm principle should do the least harm to people. At least let it be few people that your actions will harm. Let your action not harm the majority of the people in the organization or harm the organization itself to a large extent. That is another principle, the least harm principle, that says whatever you do in your organization, people must not suffer. At least 3 people must suffer. Let it be the minutest people, the fewest of the numbers that must suffer. The next principle is the principle of respect for autonomy, especially for us we are supposed to respect decisions of management because they have been given that capacity, irrespective of your capacity, innovativeness, your skill, your experience. If you are not the boss, you must give that respect to that autonomy of that position. The organization knows why they put that person there and why it is not you at that particular point. When it becomes you, those your ideas can flow as much as you want it to flow. It can flow. If you even want to push those ideas, push it through your boss. Don't come and rubbish your boss outside. That is what he's saying. Give that respect. Then justice. This one focuses on all staffs. It must focus on all. Everybody must be treated with fairness. That is what this principle, ethical principle, is expected of us in the organization. Everybody must be treated. When it's time for appraisal, we should all be appraised fairly. When it's time for promotion, it should be done in such a way that I don't feel hurt. We are doing the same job. I earn the same thing. If it is a time of incremental, I shouldn't feel left out. Whatever it is, there should be fairness. Other principles that is expected of you in the organization is a principle of integrity, trustworthiness, responsibility, caring, citizenship. That's ethical citizenship, where your public actions should not put your organization to shame. Fairness, fidelity, confidentiality. These are the principles that is expected, ethical principles that is expected in organizations or companies for each and every one of us. And that takes us to what causes this unethical practices in our organizations. The first one is pressure to meet unrealistic objectives and deadlines. Once you place people under stress, under pressure, they will find a way to meet that your yearnings, irrespective of how. And they will cut corners to give you that thing that you are looking for. And that will make them to behave, to put up characters or do things that is beyond or is below what you expect of them to do. They'll begin to do things that is not allowed to be done because you have placed that pressure on them. So if you don't want them to participate in unethical behaviors, please give people realistic objective and deadlines. I've asked somebody that when I went for a training, you are giving somebody a target in billions, when some states, their IGI, they cannot make billions in a year, in a month, sorry. And you are giving an individual to go and get that. If a whole state in the federation cannot get that, where would that individual get it? So the individual will make mistakes, will do things that are wrong because the objective that you have set is unrealistic. It's either they doctored papers to suit you or they do things that are not. Some of them may even want to run away, and when they're running, they will want to steal and move away. Then acute competition among us, whether it's internationally or nationally, because we are all in competition with one another, either as a company or as individuals. Most times, those competition makes us to do things that are wrong. You want to do anything, including by biting, to make sure that the other person does not survive. So anything you can do. Some people hide files, some, just all sorts of things to make sure. So those acute competition make people also to put up on ethical behaviors. Then you have the economic greed. Most of us want to live life of comfort and luxury. That is not there. You are just entering an office. You want to live the way the manager is living. And that manager may have put in 20-something years, 15 years. It's just like me. I want to live the way a VC is living. And the man has stayed 40 years. Me, I just entered. And I want to have all that he has. There is no way. The only way I can have it is by doing something that is wrong. Either steal from the university or steal from students or make students do the wrong thing. You will always place your hand into iniquity if you live by greed. The poor leadership is also, if you have a poor leader, people will want to cut corners to either help or abet whatever it is. Then pressure to earn profit. You see, I've had calls to somebody was asking the class, part-time students are doing masters. The immediate boss, that is a HR person, has arrogated marketing to him, HR marketing boss to himself too. So what does he do? He will go to the store, bring out the items, tomatoes, particular, but I will mention the brand. You bring out the cartons. For each person that is taking these cartons of tomatoes out, she will give them 200 on each carton to bring back to her. And so when they two get to market, what do? They will add their own 200, making 400, Abi. And so those 400 will affect the sales of the organization because other people's businesses is on a lower price. So marketers, market women will buy the other one, leaving their own product. And so it was hurting because somebody want to profit somewhere. And those things hurt the organization. And then information that most of us get from media houses, we are just seeing whatever we watch, we want to put it in practice, help us also to bring unethical behaviors in our organizations. For us to stop unethical behaviors in our organizations, these are some of the techniques we can use. Have ethical codes of conduct, or what we call handbook, in your organization. That will help you a lot. Also have ethical committees that will influence ethical conduct on a permanent basis. Let there be people that they are seeing that are behaving well. And those people should be flaunted on their faces and be rewarded. That these are committees that their character does not in any way is being questioned. Once they see those people and they see the goodness that those people are receiving in the organization, most people will want to toe that path and not the path of destruction. Also build transparency in your working. Everything you are doing, whether you are a boss, whether you are not a boss, let it be transparent. Some of us in our organizations, even when we are sick, we'll still carry our laptop to the hospital because we have so many things that are not transparent that we have hidden that we can't even allow another person to sit on our position and do the job. We can't even delegate because we are afraid that people will see things that we are doing. So delegation is not there. We are sick, we are still struggling. We're not supposed to be there. Some of us can't even take leave to go home. Year in, year out, you are not on top of that seat because of things that we are hiding. So let's build transparency. It will help us to stop unethical behaviors or practices. Let there be penalties and punishment for anybody that neglects the code of conduct. Anything that is written on the handbook. If it says the first warning, second warning, third one, at the third time, give the hammer. Let's not pamper and bend rules because we see it a lot. They will come. Either they're bringing your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your uncle, your auntie. Some people will come and tell you, please, now, you know it's a buru, forgive. And so when we don't put up the sledgehammers of punishment, people tend to do, because somebody has done it and you have allowed the person to go, another person will do it and bring his own brother to beg you. Another person will go do it and go and bring your pastor or your imam to come and beg you. So the things becomes, it continues the same way because we are not penalizing people for neglect of code of conduct. So once we begin to punish people, you will reduce unethical behaviors or practices in your organization. Also have clear policies and working procedures that people will see and know that this is what I'm supposed to do and this is what I'm supposed to get for doing it. So any other thing, I get this for not doing this, and they begin to work. So strict penalty must be there if we want people to do the right thing. And that takes us to governance, because you cannot take away ethics and governance. They go hand in hand. And when we're talking about governance, which came from the word govern, it means to control the actions of people for the benefit of the whole. You want to control the actions, these unethical behaviors that people put up in places, in organizations. You want to control it. And the only way you can control it is when you have governance in your place of work. It is a system that most companies have, and they use it to direct and control the actions of people. And in most organizations, because it is directed mainly to the management teams, it is the responsibility of the board of directors who appoint shareholders, who are appointed by shareholders, that those board of directors are the people that these governors fall on top of their head most times. The other ethical ones who can be managed by some of us here and there, but these ones fall mainly. Those boards are to make sure that all corporate management strive continuously and that we all work above average performance. So it is those policies that direct us as a people on how to act as an organization. So your governance takes place on telling you those policies. That's why we say there must be policies. Those policies that direct people on how to behave, those policies that you can use to control is what your governance at workplace is. It has structures and functions. For University of Lagos, where I work, there is a big structure. That big structure has the VC. I'm not talking about the post-chancellors that are all appointed. It has the VC, which is 3 DVCs, the registrar by the side with the bursar, then comes down to the deans, to the HODs and other workers, and then the students. So I already know my structure, and that is how our governance should be. I cannot go and bypass my HOD, except I become the HOD. I have to talk to the dean. For now, even if I want to travel to Akure over the weekend, I am supposed to let my HOD, if it is not more than 2 days, let my HOD know. If it becomes more than 2 days, my dean must be on the knowing. If he passes that, my VC must be on the knowing. That's how we are governed in University of Lagos. So if you say, let me just collect 5 days, and the VC mistakenly see you at the airport, you're in trouble. Because the policy of the organization is that he must know, he's not asking you not to go, but he must know that if this person is being looked for, I should be able to say, this person told me that he or she was going to the US. So that is a structure and the function that goes. So examples of these governance policies, when it comes to the management team, I've said the one that concerns me as a person, is that it comes up because companies want to stop the board from awarding contract to board members. So if you don't have these policies, my VC can say, after he's a VC, he can start to say, management sciences becomes my PLC. So my wife, go and roof their building, go and paint the classrooms and this. So that thing stops him from awarding those contracts to his wife or family members. It also stops him from awarding those contracts to other people, maybe the DVCs or even the directors or the deans, because there is a policy that says you cannot do it. So your governance at that workplace is like a policy to stop people from fraud, for multiple signatures that they will use to defraud the organization. In your workplace, your governance is those policies, those procedures that you set in place that will govern how your organization's business is operated. It is like a law that is supposed to benefit each and every one of us, all stakeholders, be them the customers, the people that come as contractors, or the workers itself. This policy will affect all of them, unlike ethics that will just govern us at the workplace. The governance of itself will take care of everybody that is involved in the workplace. So it deals with how we maximize the shareholders' wealth. It also involves the supervision that the management of the organization have to have upon all of us in terms of integrity, opening more doors, procedures, and legal compliances when it comes to the organization. It considers the welfare of everybody in the organization, whether they be stakeholders or not. As long as they are within that space of the organization, this will take care of you. It will take care of all your movement and whatever you do. So ultimately, what it does is to promote good relationship among everybody that works in the workplace or that comes in their workplace, whoever they are as a stakeholder that comes in. That your governance or policies will create that good relationship among all. So it must come from organization or within the organization, and it must be followed. Those policies must be followed to the letter by all. Everybody must follow the governance or the policies of the organization when it comes to the workplace. As a practice, as a rule, as a process, we are all supposed to follow it without missing any one of it, whether we will be management team, whether we will be employees, whether we will be customers. We are supposed to go by it to avoid unethical practices or ethical activities or unethical issues. It helps us to avoid whatever it is, conflict that will come from bribery, from any other issues that is against the organizational interest. These policies, or what we call governance, will take care of it so that there won't be conflict in the workplace. So what are those things that are supposed to help us to govern or to serve as the governance in the workplace? The governance in the workplace will bring us the following. It will bring us trust, it will bring us transparency, empowerment, accountability, control, and ethical citizenship. So once there is that governance from this diagram, it covers your policy, it covers your standard, which is your ethics at workplace. It covers the audits, compliances, the risk, the strategy, the laws, the regulations that each and every one of us in that particular organization is supposed to follow at every particular point in time. And so let's look at what it is. Why emphasis on governance and ethics in the workplace? Why do we have so much emphasis on it? The reason is that the management and employees should see themselves as a battleground. All of us, whether we like it or not, we are all fighting against unethical activities and behaviors that must be avoided. And so your governance, which is your policies, your ethics, which is a standard, helps us to fight against it. Because the tendency is that if I enter my boss office as a VC, I may see milk, and so I want to drink tea. And in making those teas, I'll forget that those teas are meant for, those milk is meant for visitors that will visit him. I may decide that only me will open one tin milk and drink. But if there are standards that says I am not supposed to, if there are rules that say I am not supposed to, those behaviors in me will lie low, because there will be consequences if they count and that milk is missing. So another thing is that the policies that covers business ethics plays important role and put appropriate behavior. So with this, you already have a policy that will cover all ethical play that you want to play, every role you want to play, all of us will have it. So there is already a signpost that says this is how you are supposed to behave. You are not supposed to go left or right from it. So we also begin to place it in place. We begin to do it the way we're supposed to do it. The organization will now have a control system. That is why we are supposed to have it. We now have a control system where we will be monitored, there will be reports, there will be corrective actions. In case anyone has gone astray, we begin to monitor and control those actions. If you don't have that governance in workplace, if there's no emphasis on ethics, if there's no emphasis on governance, most of us will not be under control. We'll talk anyhow. If there's nobody monitoring us, if there's no report, if there is no sanction, we'll just do things the way we want to do. We'll just sign our name and we'll go to marketplace and we won't come back. Most of us will do a great moonlighting without fear or favor of anybody, because we'll start complaining our salary and this, and it do not get to us. It also provides us with information that are needed for us to effectively examine performance of people and discuss actions that are needed to remedy any company problem. Once it is there, then all informations are there. With that information, you'll be able to check how far has Ms. Ekwaba been able to do what we expect her to do. And then you begin to discuss it. If she has gone astray, is there a remedy? Can we remedy her? If we cannot remedy her, do we then send her away? It also helps you to create laws that will remain formidable for a long time in your organization, even for your sector. Once those standards are there, you already have laws that you have created. Then it helps you to play advisory roles on the people at every time. You play advisory roles. Also, there's something I want us to know, or I want us to look at. It talks about the goals and the commitment of the shareholders when it comes to ethics and governance in the workplace. The goals for each of us, or the commitment for each of us, is that we have respect for all, whether they are junior or they are seniors. Remember that all stakeholders are not minors. And so because they are not minors, you need their decisions, you need their consultation. Whether they're your customers, you need to go and ask them, how this product I'm selling to you, is there anything we need to improve? Are there some that that are bad that need to change, you need everybody. You don't just go and say, we have said it, or I am the boss, cannot work. We also need to maintain a healthy work environment that is free of all harassment, including sexual harassment, fraud, intimidation, abuse, violence, discrimination. That is the goal, why we must be committed to this particular ethics and governance. It will also help us to have good relationship in our workplace and evaluate how we are supposed to reward everybody. It helps us to build a holistic, spirit, soul, and body staff, people that are there in total into our organization, and then give them positive personality that they need. We understand ourselves, both management and staff. We have peaceful and trustworthy environment. It will guide us to tell the truth always, irrespective of who's us result, and make us good ambassadors of organizations. It will also improve organizational reputations and patronage, decrease fraud, conflict, reduce lawsuits, penalties, and fines, build patriotism among our staffs that will enhance not just our organizations, but also national development and give us better standards and talent utilization. So how do we now identify those that have challenges coping with ethics and governance in our workplaces? And I said the first thing you have to do is start from the time you are recruiting your employees. It is very, very important to get it right from the onset through recruitment. Some of your entrance questions should be based on ethics, on morality, and obedience to the policies and rules of the organization. Score them on ethics, score them on governance, evaluate the differences that they may have, and peradventure there are talent that you need to bring on board. Begin to think, how do I help this person? Because you will see those signs when you are doing your recruitment, but most times we overlook it and we say, it doesn't matter when they come. If it is very obvious that this one will not change, please, from the recruitment time, drop such a person. Ask them those questions on what they think about alcoholism, what they think about drugs, sexuality, theft, bullying, fighting. You should ask those questions when it comes to recruitment. Don't just ask about our organization, job, and distance, because without these ones, the other jobs may not be done well and you have issues. So you have to be proactive when you're identifying employees' behavior. Look at what will influence fraud in your organization. You could just, when they're sitting, waiting for you to call them, try and put something like sweet on the table. See who picks like 10. That will tell you that this one, if you put more than anything on the table in the office, this person will take more without thinking. You will see those things. Try and leave money carelessly where they're seated. See who picks it and puts in the pocket. And that's why these days it's very easy. You have CCTV from where you are going to call them in to where you are sitting them before they come in. If you could be able to pick up those negative deviant behaviors so that you begin to cancel. If you feel that this person is very good, I saw you, but I think you are more than this. You begin to cancel them on those things before they come in to join you in those organizations. And if they cannot, then you can then allow them to go. So you need to keep record of the team, keep record with your administrators. Also begin to keep record of those ones that you have already brought in. Go once in a while as HR manager. I tell HR managers, being an HR manager is not for you to sit and then turn your chairs as I'm turning this one here. You need to stand up and move into the crowd. So that even when line managers are telling you, you would have observed what is going on. Visit branches, see what is happening. If it is factory, go to the factory, see for yourself. You will begin to take record. You can even send people if you can't go. As administrators, let them see those things and begin to have a record of those activities and have a regular audit of those activities. Comments that people make that breach ethics in your organizations, comment that they make that is against the rules of your organizations, and take time immediately to begin to correct it before it turns into things that will hurt your organization. When somebody sits in their midst and begin to hear, you begin to take care immediately. Then the other one is to get regular feedback from line managers and subordinates and even employees themselves. You can just go in for those that we have employed, ask their managers, this one, the barrel we gave you, how many did you give? How many? This person is coming back. And they begin to, I don't mind that one. They will talk. Once you borrow, she will take it home to go and give her children. You will hear it. What is this one? No, don't, madam. all of us will know ourselves, except we don't want to tell ourselves the truth. Let's even say you are not there. Those feedbacks, customers will tell you who came to them and demanded money. If you move into the field as a HR manager, they will tell you. Line managers will tell you those that are giving them headache. Auditors too will tell you what they have seen. So the junior ones, the subordinates will tell you how their bosses, what they're doing. That's all of them boils down to a kind of relationship. That when they tell you these things, you don't go back and take those feedback and go and tell those line managers, do you know it was Mr. Kwaba that even told me that it is you that did this? So if we're able to put up these codes, identify these things, we'll be able to manage the ethical problems that are coming up in our organizations on time and begin to stop them before they become so much issues. So we can also have like committees, moral committees that you can put up in place that begin to give counsels to these people and provide solutions to them and give recommendations to management on how to handle this. If you feel that you'll be overwhelmed with it, you can also suggest that to management. And that takes me to my recommendations. I would say it will be rewarding to build ethical governance and values around every job in the organization, not just about going. Let's build it around the jobs in the organization. This will give us a constant contact between the employee, ethics and governance in that workplace. Ethics and governance assessment should be part of our employees' performance appraisal. It can be ungraded if you want. The manager can put it as ungraded. Take up ethics, take up morality, take up governance, and put it there. Like I said here, for me, my responsibility as a person, as a worker, is to teach, because we stand on the three tripod legs in university. I'm supposed to teach, I'm supposed to research, do community service, and do service outside the University of Lagos. And so that's why you can see a lecturer that is teaching, he has publications. Maybe I am here, I'm doing some works for ILO or some other companies. Then I am helping maybe the whole of Yaba Axis or something. So my boss can decide to say, for my teaching, I scored 70. For my research, I scored 65. For my university community service, I scored 68. For my outside distance, I scored 68. Then I begin to look, when I was teaching, those students that I was teaching, did I in any form sell handouts and collected money? That is part of ethics. You can try to say 50 marks for not doing well. And when it comes to research, if I got grants for research, did I use those research judiciously? Or did I package part of those research money and then use it to go and buy myself a car without carrying those research out first? Then, if I did well, can score me above 62. I'm just using these as figures. Above 62 can give me 70, 80, or B. If I have not done those things, those research money, I can't count for it, that I've taken from TED fund or whatever, I first of all use it to go and solve my family problem. You can try to rate me low, and it becomes part of my rating to make sure that I don't move further. Because if you don't rate these things and the person becomes a boss, it becomes a more problem for you and your organization as a people. So you will look at the university community service. For now, let me use myself as an example. I'm a hall mistress. So being a hall mistress, have I taken the best spaces of the people, apart from being a PG coordinator and other things that I'm handling? Have I taken the best spaces and begin to sell the best spaces where I'm supposed to serve and make sure that these children have a comfortable hall, that their waters are running, everything? Or is it that I'll go and off the tap and ask the children to contribute 1,000 for me to make repairs? Those are part of the ethics that we have to look at. If, for example, I'm not doing well and I am found wanting, then I should be scored on it. That way, the organization will be knowing that I don't need to become a DSA if I cannot handle simple hall. If I'm committing atrocities in hall, you can imagine when you now make me dean of student affairs, where all the halls are under my hand, it then becomes more problem for the university. And then outside community services, maybe I've gone to either Shell or somewhere to go and do some jobs for them. how did I do those jobs? Or maybe I even come to this mentoring series group and I have gone on that, maybe by the side, start doing DM to people. Please, leave this group, join my own group, because it's possible that people are doing it. Let's not try to hide. Leave this group. I have my own. Oh yeah, join me, 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 join me. Begin to, I will give you this. What are they even giving you there? If they find out that this is what I'm doing at outside the community service, they should be able to score me low. So what I'm bringing out that while we are as people trying to rate people based on the jobs we have assigned to them or responsibilities that we have assigned to them, or the targets that we have given to them, or the premium we have asked them to go and get for the organization, we should also rate them on their ethics, on how they have carried themselves on the standard we set as an organization, or how they have obeyed the rules and regulations of that organization, or the laws governing our organization in carrying out their responsibilities. That way, we will not make mistake of promoting a man that has issues with trust, that has issues with integrity, that have issues with honesty, that have issues with confidentiality, and will now begin to hand them principal works or patent works or confidential materials of the organization in their hands. So if we're able to do this and merge it together, we'll be able to have a more robust performance appraisals that will help us organization. So ethics, morality, and governance scores, once it's below 50, must attract, for me as a person, must attract comments. It must attract, it depends, maybe you don't want to punish them for it, but at least it must attract comments. The way our children, when we see their report card, they will write, Keneko, this child plays a lot. He should stop playing to do better. Maybe we should start writing that. This Oga, we found out that you do this. Please, can you please do better? Do better, so that they will know that these things matters a lot in the organization. So if it is above 100, above 70 and above also, it should get positive comments that will affect our performance appraisals. We should use it also year in, year out to justify why people should move to a higher grade, why people should use to a higher positions. And this way, all of us as staff, as managers, will begin to sit up and do the right thing that we are supposed to do. So I would recommend that organizations should carefully select their employees. I hope, sir, I'm still within the time.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Okay, sir, so that I don't go above the time. I would recommend that organizations should carefully select their employees to serve as ethics and governance ambassadors with reward. If you see anybody that has so much honesty and truth in that person, please make that person your ambassador in your organization and begin to reward them. The reward may not be money. The reward may be making the person's office so conducive. The reward may be giving the person a complimentary, whatever. It may be posting the person's picture on the walls of the organization to show that that person becomes an ambassador, and that person begins to reflect all those moral attitude that we want, all the attitude, all the honesty, respect for others, very law-abiding. Those employees should serve as our role models. When we want to do advert for organization, we should put their faces as a reward. It is easier if you have personalities in your organization that reflect these things than to go outside and you want to do adverts. You are coming to take an Nollywood actors to do the adverts. Your people will say, are these people that are Nollywood actors? Are they doing so? And they'll begin to model their life towards those actors, models, and this thing. But if you take somebody from your organization to be the person that becomes the face of your organization, these people, your employees begin to model their faces, their characters towards this particular, because those other people you pick as models will not show you their real characters. And so it is what they show, car, money. And your employee that is looking at them as the face of your organization will begin to look for where will I get money to get car and this thing. They'll begin to take small, 10 kobo, 5 kobo from your organization to be able to buy the car and look like the model that they're seeing. So let us begin to use our own people as a living example that other people can look up to among the staffs as role model. In your recruitment also, please try to search for some of them in your recruitment. Like I've said before, scatter things, could be 1,000, 2,000. So when you see somebody who say, after I came, they will not even take me. Let me just pick this one I saw on the floor. And the person will take it and put it on. So let's search for those ones that honestly picked it and they came to give it back to you. So whenever I was sitting, I saw money, I'm returning it. It becomes part of your recruitment. So it is difficult, because what I'm saying is that it's difficult for us to teach ethics and morality and obedience to rules to people. It is an abstraction. Most times it's an abstraction. And so that's why even our children, when you say don't go out and you go out and come late, the following morning they will go out. When you talk, it's like them these days that they talk too much. They say, yeah, for daddy, you went out yesterday, you came late too. So why will you tell me not to go out? So abstraction is very difficult to teach. But when people can identify that personality, that it is there, it is no longer an abstraction. There is somebody can say, don't you see A, see B, see C? Before you know it, it becomes part and parcel of your organization. Everybody begin to mirror themselves towards that lifestyle that you are mirroring for everybody to see. So companies should have well-equipped counseling units or counselors also who are capable in handling the magnitude and diversity of breach of practices or ethics or policies of the company. They can come from the management team, they can come from the employees themselves. They have this, your counseling unit, when somebody is misbehaving, especially if you feel that that person is a talent that you cannot do away with. Let those people sit down the way we sit our children, counsel them. Faith comes by hearing the word. I'm sure they will hear. They begin to, unlike instead of condemning and then threatening and pushing away, let's do some counseling to those ones, because we know that especially for this generation Z people that are so restless, that don't care, they don't give a damn. So sometimes we need those counseling units that will be able to moderate their behaviors and help us as an organization. So our food for thought, in a matter of style that we all know, according to Thomas Jefferson, we all swim with the current. But in a matter of principles, we need to stand like a rock. So one of the greatest challenges of our employees today is that they swim with the current. All of us swim with the current. Everybody is stealing. They're all stealing. Will I be left behind? Everybody wants to steal. So a lot of them cannot stand on the principles like a rock. There is no desire to be different from others. Therefore, there is need for all of us to be principled from the top to down. Let's lay the foundation of rules and regulations in case we have not laid it. And let's begin to stand on it as a stone and correct ourselves anywhere we have gone astray. Let's also correct each other. We should have a lot of our employees trained as peer educators to help serve as emulators for those that are breaching the company's rules and regulations and policies and ethical standards. And as we do that, I'm sure we'll all come out well as a better people. Thank you for having me.
Wow, 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 wow. Let's show some appreciation in the chat message using the emoticons. Let's show how we feel about this session. At some point, we were about 65 people on this call. This is about the most exciting session I've ever listened to on ethics. I never knew somebody could preach about holiness and make it this sweet. Very delicious message. Thank you so much, Dr. Joy. This is way, way insightful. And
thank you, sir.
Back to back, slide by slide, you know, every moment people are taking notes. I was even taking notes, even from the very, very beginning, from the very, very onset. We cannot thank you enough. The kind of examples you use, the illustrations, the quotes were beautiful. You said something about from Norman. Said the truth is that we all always know the right things to do. The hard part is doing it. That was very profound, very deep, among other things. Even the last quote you just used now, saying that with style, we can be flexible, but with principle, we should be as firm as a rock. Thank you so much. Before we quickly go on to questions, I would like to ask, is there anybody on this call, maybe you want to share an experience with us? Maybe you are faced with an ethical dilemma and how you handled it. You might have handled it well, share with us. You might not have also handled it well, feel free to share with us. You know, we are free here, we are vulnerable here. You know, recently someone was telling me, Dr. Joy, that sometimes some people may not be corrupt because they are giving bribe, that they may be giving bribe because they are victim of extortion. You can see the dilemma here. They really don't want to give a bribe, but in the real sense, they may be victims of extortion. Abimbola, please open the floor. So we'd like to share have a few examples or real life scenarios, then we'll go to question and answer. Abimbola, you have the floor, please.
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, madam. It was a very nice session. Okay, so I currently have this dilemma with this guy. He's our logistic and procurement officer. And we all know how these procurement guys are. But one of the ethics in our company is we don't give bribe, we don't take bribe. We preach against anything that has to do with you overbilling the client or even the company. But since this guy came in as, in fact, these looks and everything, like those, very spiritual people, you would never believe that he could have that side of him. But since he came in, I've tried my best to counsel him. Most of the time I sit him down and let him know that this is not right. I've even gone to the level of trying to tell him that, look at these matches, like as if I'm teaching a school girl. There was a time I brought out a matches. I said, look at these matches. This is mine. If I leave these matches here, and then you come here, you did not tell me that you want to use my matches. You pick just one. You have stolen my matches because it is not yours and you did not take permission from me. Now, this guy I don't know what else to do. The first one is when you send him out, our procedure is when you send out a staff, when he's going on the field, he's supposed to take a boat or a ride or something, bring receipt and immediately get refund. That's our procedure. But this guy will not take Uber. He would not take anything. He would take public transport. He would not be able to provide any receipt. And then he will overcharge the cost. There was a time he said he spent 6,000 naira just to get from Ikate to Lekki by public transport. It's been going from bad to worse, and he's just a new staff. Because of this, we have not been able to confirm him, even though he's close to 6 months now. And he's been preaching and preaching. I've tried my best. We've given him query about 2 times. And I've been counseling him, but he's not changing. I think he's even growing worse. So I really don't know what to do in this case. Thank you.
Am I to take it, sir? Or you?
Yeah, our teacher, ma.
Okay. Abimbola, the first thing I will say is that your organization is supposed to have a rate, transportation rate. If you are going to VI, this is how much it will cost you, going and coming back. If you are going to, except if the company car is driving you, if you are going to Ekpaja, this is how much. You would have done your feasibility studies to know how much Uber will take on that area and have a standard. That's why we're talking about ATs being a standard for the organization. Once you have a standard of what they will take, if it comes in with any other thing, you give him what the standard says. For us in the University of Lagos, I'll use for example, there is a standard. If I'm going to a conference in US, they will give me that standard money. Any other thing you want is your own. You can source for it. If you like, move from New York to Kineko, it's none of their business. They will not give you more than that. If I'm going to South Africa, the university has a standard money. So you will be choosing, looking at the airline that will suit into your money. If you decide to go and take Delta, that will charge you 4 million, as against going to Ethiopia airline, you bear the brunch yourself. So that's why I say, where you don't have standards as a rule, people will abuse every opportunity given to them. Forget the looks that are very deceitful, because they will come in like a lamb. Meanwhile, there are leopards in the skin, in the inside of them. So have a basic standard of what it is that needs to be done. And if for me, if this person, you have seen that this person is a notorious man, irrespective of his talents, before your own job goes online, let him go and then get somebody that is more, because you cannot keep having somebody that keeps stealing from company. A time will come, they begin to ask you whether you are sharing that profit of what is stealing from you. Let me give you an example. If you work for a Coke where I used to work for, if you send a manager out, that's a truck driver as a manager, or the truck drivers under your unit out, that was before they start, customers will pay into the account before they even bring out their goods. You don't go home until that truck comes back with the company money. If you go home and the man comes back to say he was attacked, they first of all pick you manager, and pick him. It then means that you either arrange for those money to be stolen, or you arrange with him to steal it and come and report to the company. And so that's the standard. But once you are within that standard and things goes wrong, the company knows you are waiting, you did not. And so you are free to go. So put up a standard about that is it logistic man or that particular position, so that anybody that goes against those rules or policies or governances, that person is taken out of that place. Nothing says he must be there. If somebody was there before he came, so he can still be taken out. Than for him to get you to that level where they will now begin to look at you as a suspect, sharing the gains of ill-gotten wealth with him. You don't need to keep quiet. If you have canceled and you have queried and he has, then use your hammer now as a HR manager and replace him, put up your listing. And then if he changes, fine for you. But he cannot continue and then stealing up and down and you're keeping him. That's just my own honorable contribution. I don't know, sir. Maybe you have a better contribution for him or for her.
Thank you so much. I think that is quite robust, very adequate. Okay, while we wait for other comments or questions or contributions, I've put up a poll just to test something. Okay, just enter menti.com. The question is very simple. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is the highest, 1 or 0 is the lowest. How will you rate your own integrity? Okay, just enter menti.com and enter the code 3516670. It's anonymous. We won't know your name or who is responding. You can see on the screen right now, people are responding and you don't know who. All right. Again, I like us to ask questions, but if you have contribution, maybe a story where maybe you face an ethical dilemma and how you are able to handle it, whether the right way or the wrong way. Okay, we'll take Olushola now. Olushola, then we'll take Oluchi after. Olushola, please, your contributions or your question.
All right, thank you, sir. And thank you, ma'am. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead, we are with you.
Okay. So my question is, what if it's your line manager or your supervisor that has questionable ethics? What I mean by this is, if, for instance, you're being given a target by the company, and the target is kind of huge. In fact, if you follow the normal process, you can't meet that target. Like if you want to follow, you want to do the normal thing, try to be as righteous as possible. It's not a course, you can't meet that target. But the company they just have to make their own profit. Do you understand? And so in one way or the other, it's not actually the fault of the line manager also, because everybody just wants to be perfect. Now my question is, what can such an employee do, knowing that for now there is no other option, you just have to be here for the time being? Well, what I mean, the questions and the ethics I mean is maybe lying to customers, for instance, about interest. Maybe they come to get a loan. You know that the interest, the overall interest is actually more than what you're explaining to the client. But if you spread it out like that, the client won't come to get it. So in such a situation, what can the employee, at least for the period for which he or she is there? Thank you.
Your question is on if your line manager lies a lot, or is pushing you to go and do the wrong thing.
No, when it yeah, something like that. When not doing the wrong thing actually, like you just they have to do things to make you meet up the target, and these things are not actually right per se. They're not the right thing.
You have said it's not right now, so he's still pushing you to do the wrong thing now. He's still pushing you. I've just given an example of somebody that was asking people to go and add 200 for her, and they too will go and add 200 for the market women, and it gives them that's 400 on top of the on top of the prices of the company. I tell people, most times your bosses would have looked at the kind of person you are to be able to tell you to do those kind of things. If you don't do it because they know it's wrong, they won't write you. That's the truth. They won't. They will push you. It's either you are succumbing or you are not. If they push you and they find that this person likes this kind of thing too, they will keep on pushing you. But if they push you and they find out that you want to stay by the principles, the rules of the organization, they only be waiting for you to make another mistake. But that particular one is very rare for anybody that's doing anything wrong to give you a query for doing the right thing. They will not. So I will advocate that you do the right thing. The truth is that when chiefs are down, your name will be mentioned. Most of us compromise because we feel we don't have opportunities elsewhere. You forget that you are growing and that your name will be mentioned somewhere else, and it becomes an issue later in life. Let me give you a scenario. When I was in the industry, I was the manager in charge of my last VC's wife's shop. And not that the shop, but that area, the whole of the area. So her shop falls into my shop, into my jurisdiction. And before then, there was a manager that was sacked. I didn't even know because I was moved from Apapa plant to that side. And then I didn't know, but I just knew that when I came in initially, she had this cold feet towards me. And I told her, Ma, I said, whatever belongs to you, I'll give it to you. And because they know my principles, nobody sent me to go and stop the woman's rebate or reduce it or keep any promo items. I never did it. And I can say it anywhere. I can enter Coke. I can enter and come out, and I'll still be celebrated. If they know it's your principle, they will not. So I kept to those rules of the organization. I didn't make profits out of it, apart from the salaries that the company pays me. Fast forward, we had a good relationship, we worked, I never bent any rules. Most people took fridges that are meant for customers. Later they found out, took them to police, they did this. I didn't take anyone. They entered my house, I never had anyone, and I'm not interested. But fast forward, I took to academics. Some years after I entered into academics, the husband became the VC. Immediately the husband became the VC, she became the president of the women, because once you're the VC, your wife becomes the president of the women of the university. You can imagine if I had told the tales of others and I still came to meet her as a customer in this place, what it would have been for me. One, she would have gone to say the story of who I was. That I can't come and explain it that somebody pushed me as a manager to go and bring extra 10 kobo. I wouldn't have gotten my growth to the level I am, because the man has to do appraisal and you have to sit with him for you to get it if you want to become at that level. I would have gotten the appointment I got within the school. I'm sure it is the story she has told about me in the past to the husband, even when the husband was not yet. So let us stop this. I am being pushed as HR managers or as workers, employees. If you know that you are not limited to that space, that you are going somewhere, you don't need to rubbish yourself, because your story will sell as a HR manager. You may look tough here. You may look this, whatever you are doing will sell to the next place you are going. If you want to limit yourself, you can say, my line manager pushed me, so I did it. But if you want to go to greater heights, where people will say, ah, when she was there, she never did this, she never did that, give her the higher that thing. Then you need to live by the principle of the organization, not the one of the line manager trying to push you to do the wrong thing in the name of lying. Go and add, go and add, go and add. And that's why I said, don't put people under pressure because they will do unethical things. And you too, when they push you, please don't do it. I moved to the financial sector. I'm still in good time with my chairman till today. If he wants to do anything, he ran for governorship of his place. I was still called to come and be on part of the campaign this thing. And I was gathering women through behind doors. So except you just want to limit yourself somehow, that's when you give all these excuses that was pushed. Let integrity be part of you in everything you do. I tell my students, if you take exam today, tomorrow, your result is already on the notice board. Because I don't want anybody to come and start telling me stories that will make me do the wrong thing. And I tell people, if I want to sin, I'll sin for myself, not that somebody push me to sin. If the company rules, university rule says this, I will do it. After the university, if you go outside and want to do another thing, fine. But within here, it is that rule. It may look wicked. Some people will say, I said, that wicked woman, I accept. But because I know where I'm going, I prefer to do the rules of the organization and move to a greater height than to have those little 5 minutes enjoyment that will now bring me down and make me not to grow. I don't know whether that makes sense.
Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Anthony Obeka, over to you. Anthony. Okay, if you are waiting for Anthony, let's have Ahmad. Ahmad, you can please unmute and let's have your contribution.
Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, Mr. Yemi.
Good evening.
I'm glad to be here this evening. Please, I want to ask a question for Madam. There was an event that normally happens in the public service. Mr. Yemi will recall that I asked a question last time we had this session. Because I've worked in the civil service for like 18 years. We discovered that the issue of ethics and integrity is nothing to write home about in that sector. I want to give a scenario whereby someone is upright, is in inspectorate division in the core civil service. He is to go along with his team members to other sectors to go and inspect what they have done, including the University of Lagos that Madam works. When you get to all these places, you see some mispractices. When you come back, you report it. They are noticing you, even to remove you from that position you are holding, so much so that you are going to be relegated. Is it not when you go out that you see these things that you are coming to report that, okay, all these infractions are in practice there? That's number one. Number two, we have a system whereby all these anti-corruption agencies that we say we have, even when you want to whistleblow all these issues, you will find out that some people are still coming after you because some people have showed the information to them that it was social person that did this. So how does one manage this in terms of ethics, integrity, truthfulness, etc.? Another example is somebody was given a DTA. Madam, we understand DTA and maybe other person that is in the public service, the way they normally do it. You are supposed to spend 5 days and you spend 3 days and you are coming to tell your boss or your office or accountant general, I want to pay this excess money back into the TSA. And for that, they know that this work, you can do it for 3 days. This guy is trying to expose us. They can move you from, say, Abuja, where I am now, to Maiduguri, where you will not have such opportunity and you will be under uncomfortable condition. So how does one resolve all this? That is my question and comment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we are all civil servants, and we are the problem of Nigeria, but it doesn't stop us from holding on to our integrity. Let's just use Dora Akunyili as example. A very typical example. The day you shine, I don't know about other people, but my scripture says the day my wall will be built, every decree, whoever is there will go and I'll still be there. Dora returned her money, and she was not. They removed her, did all those things. But it got to one day, somebody mentioned that there was one person that was honest and returned the money. And that was what earned Dora the DG of NAFDAC. And nobody among the DGs, not the DGs in Nigeria, have had an award that they let Dora. She even, in short, even in her place, she was shot for being upright, but she escaped death until cancer took her away. The truth is that it pays to be honest. People around us may not like it, may not appreciate it, but there is somebody somewhere someday that will appreciate it. And when those days come, that your promotion will come, they will look for you. Nigeria is looking for, we are getting to that place where Nigerians are looking for people that are honest and truthful, that will stand up. Forget what is happening now. We have seen good examples of people that were honest and they were picked and they were positioned. But when you look at the majority, it may look as something. This one you're even talking is because your own is money returned. I've seen somebody that went on conference and then they positioned women to come so that those will be part of your Estaco money. They will add it, that the entertainment. Women were brought and the man said, I'm married. And that was how they dropped him from that team because the girl knocked to say, who are you? Say, I was asked to come and stay with. The man said, I don't want. The girl went to the person people sent me, say he does not want. Other people thought he would be exposed. And so they dropped him from that team. But today, he's up there. Somebody identified that there is somebody that is honest and they have placed him back. I don't want to mention his name so that people that worked with him will not come after all of us because this is going to YouTube. Yes. So you will always have them come. But the truth is that when the chiefs are down, like I keep saying, somebody at high place will remember you. And let them not remember you the day of promotion for wrongdoing. It is worse. That you have collected that one, and then a higher position comes. Because it's at that higher position, you start being, you that is in the ministry, you know. That's when you see petition flying. All your sins, when you were cleaner, before you went back to school to come become manager, that is when it will come. But if you have kept your record straight, it will not come up. It will not come up because they will look, they will not see anything. But once they have seen something, they will use it against you. So it doesn't matter. The highest they could do is to remove you. Like I tell people, you can remove me. And I have said this several on several forums. Maybe because I'm coming from the East. Me, I can sell. If you say today, because I'm doing the right thing, you want me to go, I'll just go and buy a boot and join them in my 12. Before you know it, I'll start selling yam and tomatoes. And the highest that I won't wear wig again, I'll tie scarf, carry it on my head and do kaya, I'll still survive. Because it is better for me that when my state is looking for me for growth and other things, I will have those growths. I want to give you another illustration. There was a bid to do something for us for a place in my in-law side from MTN. The person that I've gotten the bid for them, for somebody that was sent, went and was asking them for money, was asking the villagers. He will still collect from MTN and he want to collect from villagers. And then they called me. And me, innocently, I now asked them, is that the procedure so that I'll tell them to contribute? That's how that guy lost his job. That's how he lost his job. Because of this little, let me collect here. And he was now calling me, madam, what can you do? I said, I don't know what to do because I didn't know. So let's be as honest as possible because that's what has put our nation where we are. This thing you're saying is not the first time I'm seeing it. I went on conference, I was sponsored by ILO to South Korea. Then there are some people that came for the same con. That was the 50th anniversary because I needed to present a paper. People that came from the industry and for the ministry. Men, let me not say what I saw. It's like they came for Jamboree. Everybody, they were buying and buying for buses in the office. They were buying for themselves and buying for buses in the office. So that those, and I was asking one, I said, you came for conference, so what is all this one? He said, madam, I need to settle A, B, C, D. She was mentioning people in this year, Abuja, that she need to settle. And I was like, wow. And that's why the nation, other nations don't take us serious. That's why they don't take us serious, because we have thrown away our integrity. I've been in a ILO conference where we're supposed to come on a tripod legs, where employers are supposed to come with, they gave us number. We that came for conference presentation, they won't give us number because they accepted your paper. Employees are supposed to, our government people came with 264 people for a space of 4. And they only took the minister and 4 people and 3 other people and locked the rest out. And then they didn't enter the conference room. Because everybody sees as national cake, let's go and share. And that sharing of national cake has dropped us to where we are, that we can't even, you carry green passport, you want to enter ordinary Ghana, they will now be looking, turning it upside down. Togo self without even want us. Because they don't trust us enough to do the right thing. Let's do the right thing, forget about it. They can always promote you, that's the least they can do. They can't take your this thing. And they can't even give you query when you are doing the right thing. No, that's the truth of that, because they know you expose them. Just take let's take another example. When Ote was the DG for SEC, when they called her at the National Assembly, she told them that well, you're calling me because I stopped that you people will not go to Bahamas. Till today, they left her. She passed 5 years and left. Because her house was clean, they could not indict her. And it was National Assembly she was telling, I am not going to do what you people are asking me for money for Bahamas, and I'm not going to give it. SEC will not give you people that money. And it was an open aired by channels, AIT. We all watched it and we laughed. But because she was on the part of the rights, of being right or having integrity, nobody, National Assembly, the whole National Assembly, the 2 floors, could not push her away. That woman surmounted all of them, stayed her 5 years, finished and went back to UK before she was absorbed by IMF again. So, except we are looking at the little thing we want to eat now. If you are like me, you have the dream to rule your world. Because I had the dream that one day I will go and replace my boss, Professor Fashoyi, in ILO, and then collect salaries in dollars, not this one that are paying me, the ASU will owe me 10 months, and telling me government will owe me 10 months. But for the work I have done before, they now want to owe me for the one. Even when I was still doing research, they gave me 4 jobs to do, and I'm doing 3 out of this, and they are owing my salary. And then the one they paid, they collected full pay, they collected full tax, full everything, and then prorated after collecting everything, they now prorated half and paid me quarter. So if you have dream to rule your world, brother, except your dream is just limited to that place. If you have dream to become the governor of your state one day, if you have dream to become a senator from your state one day, in the new Nigeria that we are finding ourselves, please don't allow anybody push you into trouble. Just remain with your integrity. You will see yourself ruling the world. The world will accept you if Nigeria rejects you. But if you want to flow with them, no problem. But I will say, don't flow with them. Move ahead with your life. Endure the pain now. Endure the outcasting. Endure whatever it is that are given to you now. Someday somebody will remember you and you have yourself there. There are so many examples of people that become
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Sir.
Okay, so I think they say a word is enough for the wise. This has been 94 minutes of quality time with Dr. Joy. Thank you so much on behalf of everybody who has joined this session today. Oluchi, I see your hands up. I will just allow you so that Madam can go and rest. So Oluchi, you will take the final question or contribution. Hello, Oluchi.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Loud.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful session. Please, I sent my question earlier on the chat. I said, can we have example? Because she was saying we should ask questions around ethics, sexuality, and all that. In this era of don't get into my space and all that, can we have example how we can couch I know how to catch the question on ethics, but how can we catch the question around sexuality during interview? We are talking about diversity, inclusion, and all that.
Anyway, it all depends on what, if I'm to, because I don't know what your company is. If I'm going to use University of Lagos when it comes to sexuality, I am a female. Part of the thing I'll be looking at is if I'm to rate a male, is when ladies enter your office, what happens? Has anybody come out to complain? If somebody has come, if all the time the students come out and they complain about you, something is wrong when it comes to sexuality. I don't know whether I'm getting my gist. If the guys comes into my office and they go back and they're complaining to somebody, if you enter Madam office, Madam will hold your hand, they will not leave your hand. Because it's part of it too. It's harassment. And you hold somebody, the person is saying, good afternoon, you are holding, and some of you want to scratch the person's hand. So if there is, all those are things you look out for. And when you miss the crowd, you hear it. Don't just sit on your table. When you miss the crowd, get into the midst of the crowd, you hear all those words. People will come. The students will come. If it is money that you are asking for, then you hear it. If it is let me sleep or take you out, students will say it. You hear, I'm just using students because I am in school. That's where I work for now. Maybe if I work somewhere else, I would have used a better example. So when you're looking at sexuality, look at it from those angles where you want to rate it. Or maybe we want to interview somebody, the person is coming in and you're saying, you know, when they come in, you're supposed to welcome them. And the guy looks at you and there's a way he looks at you. You will know that, now this one, something is wrong with him. Because when guys look at you, you will know who is looking at you the way he's not supposed to look. And when they hold your hand too, you too will know, except you don't want to. And maybe because this part of the world, we're always afraid. Or even man will tell you, please, can you leave my hand? But because we don't want to see as if Agbalagba is holding my hand, I don't want to be insulted. And the man is, and you're uncomfortable. Anything that makes you uncomfortable, that you feel that makes the employee uncomfortable when he's with the opposite sex, you should use it as part of your rating. If that person is doing it, you should use it as part of your rating. Whether sending they will come and forward immoral, what do you call it? WhatsApp things that is not needed. You know, my undergraduate pages, WhatsApp group, there was one that I had to tell one. Immediately he posted it, I took it upon myself. I said, sorry, you can't post this on this WhatsApp group. And this is somebody has turned to big boy, you know, because among my group, we have deputy governors and generals that pass from ACOCA, you know. And what we do is to try to help one another. If you have a shop, we cannot go anywhere to buy. If you have a school, everybody around your school, around your area will send a child to your school. So I think I just said one thing. Instead of sending this thing, I will say this is what I apply. If there is a job, I'm supposed to place it first for them to see before I now. So if they have, so that way nobody will be a burden to us. So let everybody have something doing. Oh, the guy just posts one stupid thing. I said, okay, I cannot put this in here. You can't put it. I was like, I said, when we are undergraduates, you can do all those. Now we are Balagba. You cannot do this one here, now, here. You cannot. And we have to quarrel over it. So this one cannot be here. One, my baby can pick my phone and then you come and see rubbish. What if my husband pick my phone, Uncle? He said, that son, I said, wait till they go watch 9 BTs. They will know that one useless human being that refused to grow up, they have put that in there. So when you see all those things, play it role, or somebody that's busy sending people unnecessary commit media, you will now know that when you want to rate this person on ethics, this is his problem. This is his problem. You know, I've had somebody that we are supposed to interview. When I was talking about sexuality, say, excuse me, I want to confess. The only place that does not hear message in my life is this damn part. And so go and settle that damn part. Then you can then come back for us to interview you again. If you have problem, that means you can rep somebody inside office. For you to say in an interview that that's your own area of problem means that something is wrong. You need to go and settle it and come back. Then, and he's a talent, but you have to go allow him first of all to go and work on himself. Then he can then come back to us. Then for the consultancy job I was doing for the people, because it is very, very necessary. You as a manager, what if you are closing late and that guy is around you, and then he grabs you from behind? And in Africa, you can't even talk. They will say, what are you wearing? What were you doing in the office very late? They now start blaming you. So if you see these little signs, please, it's part of the sexuality question you're supposed to ask. It is part of the sexuality observations that you're supposed to make in the office, and let the person know that it is not our ethics to be doing this. If you want to marry, marry. And sometimes some organizations don't allow two of you to marry. One person resigns. So if you want this of you to come here and be doing grabbing, go and grab one and pay bride price and go home. So you put it into your distance and then everybody goes home with it. But don't overlook anything that puts your job, especially your own job, because if the chiefs are down, management will ask you, HR manager, what did you do? Did you not see this thing? The only thing they don't ask you, did you not see, is their money. Any other thing that is a problem in the organization is HR manager's problem. And that's why I even tell HR managers, even if you don't want to recruit somebody, just put it in monetary form. When they bring their brothers or their wife's brother, just put it in monetary form, how much they will lose if this person is employed and this person who does not come to work, and this person takes the excuse or laxity of being a brother. Once you put it and show your MD or chairman, he will not invite his brother to work with him. But when you go there and speak grammar, Oga, cannot take your brother. He said, it's my job, go and put him, go and give him a job. Anything that has to do with problem is your problem. Money is their gain. So please put all this into practice. I'm sure we'll all excel, and God will help us as we'll excel.
Thank you. As always, even this Q&A session was even more explosive. The kind of illustration you have to dig deep to share with us, very profound.
Somebody's asking you, not me, Oga. Somebody's asking you. He said, when are you going to give you a return leg? It's not me that asked, no. They're asking you for return leg. If he calls me on any other one, we'll be there.
Return leg, go.
And if it's another one, then we'll talk about it. But I'm sure you'll not give me a return leg on the same topic.
You know, it will be something else. Don't worry, we'll bring Madam next year. This year, we'll give her some time to rest. You know, you used one example, and I will wrap up with that. Dora Akiyuli. You see, I did a program in Lagos Business School, and you know, if you do any program in Lagos Business School, especially executive programs, ethics is one of the foundational courses. We did a case study review on Dora. It was like 12 pages, just on Dora Akiyuli alone. And you know, thank God, yeah, she's late now, but what you said is completely true. When Obasanjo was looking for someone to manage NAFDAC, it was because she returned money. She had to go for a medical trip. I think some of the diagnostics were wrong or different, and she returned the money. It was as if she was a crazy woman. When she was in NAFDAC, and this is the last story I will share about her, a reverend father came. You know how workplace people want to set people up. And the reverend father claimed that I didn't have money for a particular registration. They now came to meet Dora in the office that, please, because of the father, that she should approve that they should waive the payment for the father. You know, thank God, she also have the Holy Spirit. She knew in her heart that this is a setup. They know that she is Catholic. They will now want to see how
brought the reverend father.
A reverend father. Guess what Dora did? Dora went to the payment location, brought out the money, and paid cash. You want me to waive? I will use my personal money.
And pay.
I won't waive government money. And everybody was quiet. Please, let's exercise wisdom and discretion. Like Madam told us today, put sweet, put chewing gum. Sometimes too, people are trying to set us up. Don't fall. I think Madam made a very valuable point. Look at the future. Look at the long term. Don't look at the immediate survivor and forfeit the future glory that is imminent. I like what she said. She's looking at ILO. She's looking at global level. Please, don't use something small. Don't let us be like Esau, that we just because of a morsel of bread, we will lose our firstborn rights. She said something, and I'll wrap up with this. She said that she can go to the market and sell. Look, if you think you don't have an option, you will compromise. That also tells us that have your plan B, have a backup plan, so that you are not overtly desperate. It's not like without this money, you won't be able to pay your children's school fees. Without this money, please. And that's why we run this session, so that we can develop our competencies. when they are telling you to do the wrong thing, and you look at your MD there and say, sir or ma, if you insist we do this thing, I will tender my resignation. And I have done it before. And I was shocked. They told me not to resign. And they changed the thing. The next day, they were not trying to tell me that, so did you mean you will have resigned yesterday? I said, yes, I will have. They said, when you said that word that you will resign, they knew I was serious about the thing. How many of us can threaten to resign? Not even threaten to resign. How many of us can resign? Let's build our competency and capacity. And we have been doing that. And we'll continue to do it. Dr. Joy, on behalf of everyone tonight and everyone in the future that will watch this video, thank you so much, ma. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. All our students that are in the house that came to listen to her, thank you so much for coming. You are so blessed. This person cannot be your lecturer. Your future is guaranteed. Your future is guaranteed. Once more, let's celebrate.
If you want to do PhD, you come to us. We are here. We'll
yes, so you don't need to go to Harvard, though. Dr. Joy is in Unilag.
They don't need to go to Harvard. I have Harvard certificate, so come. I have IBS certificate, so come. I have gone to there for you. I will just give you back what they have given me.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, sir, for having me. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Somebody's asking what school? University of Lagos, Unilag for short. In case you want to do masters or you want to do PhD, just get across to us. We'll help you. We are here now as a family, and we are here to help one another. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, sir.
Okay.